Hello friends! You're on the Last Days channel. Thank you so much for your engagement and support. And so, a review of events for July 25th. Lipetsk region. Motorists in the Lipetsk region were frightened by an unusual phenomenon when whole clouds of moths attacked them, especially those crossing the Karakum Bridge. But in fact, they were insect mayflies, which are absolutely safe for humans. At this time of year, they have their mating season, and they flutter into the air by the tens of thousands and strive for sources of light, especially many of them near water bodies, as after mating they lay eggs in the water. The phenomenon raises the interest of avid fishermen, as mayflies resemble a real snowstorm and are a signal of a good bite of fish. In addition, fish know about the phenomenon and rise to the surface of the water to eat the fallen insects. So you should not be afraid of this phenomenon, it is just a natural process of nature.
Что за апокалипсис происходит здесь? Это просто реально апокалипсис.
Switzerland. In the west of Switzerland, there was a terrible accident. Tornado struck the town of La Chaux-de-Fonds. Wind gusts reached 217 kilometers per hour, which resulted in the death of one person and injuries to several others. A young man was killed when a tower crane fell near the train station. Due to the weather conditions, it was decided to temporarily cancel the operation of public transportation on several routes. Clips are circulating on social media showing wind tearing roofs off houses and chairs and tables of local cafes and restaurants flying in the sky. Special services are currently carrying out rescue operations and authorities are urging caution as many trees could still fall. Milan. Powerful storms and squally winds have hit the northern region of Lombardy, causing serious consequences. According to local authorities, at least 3 people were injured in Milan. More than 100 calls were received by the regional fire department from worried citizens who witnessed gusty winds breaking and uprooting powerful trees that often fell on the road, blocking traffic in and around the northern Italian capital. The fallen trees damaged some sections of power grids, causing, among other things, train service on one of the main lines of the Milan metro to be halted. Many trains were cancelled or delayed for more than an hour and a half. Rail service between Milan and the cities of Como, Lecce and Sandria was interrupted. Also in northern Italy came storms with torrential rain and heavy hail. In the Veneto region, wind gusts in some places reached 140 km/h, resulting in damage to about 30 buildings, half of which were left without roofs. More than 110 people were injured and seriously traumatized by the heavy hail and falling shards of broken glass. Severe damage was caused to the Monza train station. Residents of the Veneto region continue to rebuild what was destroyed, and the authorities promise to provide all necessary assistance to the victims. India. Mass evacuations in India have been triggered by heavy rains that have caused flooding across the country. Junagadh district in particular has faced 3 deaths due to rain-related incidents. Hundreds of people are still waiting to be evacuated from the flooded low-lying areas. According to the Indian Meteorological Department, heavy rains are forecast in Gir Somnath and southern Gujarat until tomorrow. Rescuers have already evacuated up to 300 people from low-lying areas, but flooding continues in all parts of the city due to the flooded Kalwa and Santrak rivers. Panic is beginning to set in among the people of Gujarat, and everyone is waiting for the heavy rains to end so that normal life can return. Germany. A powerful storm with a speed of 110 km per hour hit Germany in Cologne. Fallen trees and flooded basements. Train traffic has been interrupted on several routes. Several fire brigade operations are underway in North Rhine-Westphalia, where thunderstorms, some of them severe, have rolled through. In Frechen, several roofs were blown off. In Cologne, one person was injured. Eyewitnesses are talking about tornadoes in Germany. The weather is showing its stormy side, in particular over the land of North Rhine-Westphalia will pass thunderstorms with heavy rain and squally winds. Mexico. Severe storms and flooding hit Mexico, affecting several cities in the state of Jalisco. The storm has left behind severe damage, including flooded streets, homes, and even shopping centers. While no injuries have been reported at this time, several people are trapped in their cars on flooded roads in Puerto Vallarta. The flooding created a current that swept away cars and knocked down 8 trees and power poles. There were power outages in several neighborhoods and dozens of homes were damaged by water intrusion. A particularly disturbing incident occurred in the Santa Maria neighborhood, where a fire broke out in a transformer cell. The incident left an entire neighborhood without power, creating an emergency situation for residents who had to contend with the lack of lighting in the bad weather. Wisconsin, USA. A large hailstorm occurred in western Wisconsin on Wednesday. Shoppers and employees at a Walmart store were trapped inside the building when large hail pierced the roof, bringing footage. Video footage taken inside the store shows the rain and hail piercing the ceiling. It can be seen that the hail was pea chicken egg sized and scattered across the floor inside the building. Glass and pieces of the roof fell down, leaving behind a huge mess. Thunderstorms moved across eastern Minnesota and Wisconsin, bringing large hail and damaging wind gusts. Peak wind gusts of up to 100 kilometers per hour were reported. According to the National Weather Service in Minneapolis, Israel Lake received numerous reports of hail up to the size of tennis balls during the evening. Russia. About 60 forest fires have been extinguished in Russia over the past 24 hours, but about 190 fires are still burning on the area of over 500,000 hectares. The emergency regime is in effect in all regions of the country. The most difficult situation is in the Far East, where forests are burning in Khabarovsk Krai, Amur Oblast, and Yakutia. As a rule, the fires are caused by dry thunderstorms and hot weather conditions. Another problem is the windy weather that firefighters face. Fires occur in difficult places, in areas with swamps or dense vegetation. Therefore, paratroopers and paratroopers have to act, making their way with shovels and axes. More than 3,000 Air Forest Protection personnel, including paratroopers, firefighters, and volunteers, are involved in extinguishing forest fires. 39 aircrafts and almost 350 units of special equipment are also helping. Over 400 fires in 40 regions were extinguished during the week. In the forests of the Khanty-Mansi Autonomous Okrug, the situation with the elements has stabilized, so the state of emergency has been lifted. Earlier it had been in force in Yugris since July 8, when 44 natural fires were burning in the region on the area of about 9,713 hectares. Most of them were localized. Serbia. A powerful storm hit Belgrade and the western and southwestern parts of Serbia. Hail fell in several municipalities and caused great damage to farmers. At around 1700 hours, the storm hit Kraljevo with rain and hail the size of walnuts. In the 10 minutes it took in suburban towns and villages, Morava had damaged house facades, roofs and cars from the amount of hail that fell inexorably. Yards turned white as if it had snowed. Dramatic footage of the storm was also captured in Cruzera, where hail was also falling relentlessly and strong gale force winds were blowing. A superstorm, which has been sowing terror in Serbia for several days, has also been declared tonight. The storm will first arrive in western and central parts of Serbia. Turkey. Forest fires have broken out in different parts of Turkey, including Antalya, Manisa, and Kahramanmaraş. The authorities reported about the large-scale actions that are being taken to eliminate natural fires. Now the situation is the most severe in the resort village of Gojniak, where the fire came close to hotels. The flames can be seen right from the windows of the rooms, and there are power outages. Tourists have not yet been told to evacuate, but the situation remains tense. Tens of thousands of firefighters are involved in extinguishing the forests, fighting the fire both from the ground and from the air. 2 Russian amphibious aircraft have arrived to help Turkey. Firefighters' efforts continue in the epicenters of the fires, in the districts of Kas, Kemer and Tashale, located in Antalya province, as well as in the village of Sarahanli belonging to Manisa province and Dul Kataraglu from Kahramanmaraş province in the southeast. Croatia and Slovenia. A strong storm has hit Croatia and Slovenia, bringing strong winds and heavy rains. Dozens of people were affected by the weather, causing disruptions to public transportation and power supplies, as well as road closures due to fallen trees. Croatia's emergency services asked residents to contact them only in life-threatening situations as they received too many calls from panicked citizens. In neighboring Slovakia, strong winds felled trees to the ground and ripped roofs off houses. Authorities said tens of thousands of people were left without electricity. Algeria. Forest fires in Algeria's mountainous regions that have swept across North Africa and southern Europe have killed 25 people, including 10 soldiers, officials said. About 7,000 firefighters are trying to bring the blaze under control and about 1,500 people have been evacuated. Algeria's Interior Ministry said firefighting efforts were underway in 6 provinces and asked the public to avoid areas engulfed in fires and to report new hotspots to the toll-free civil defense telephone numbers. Remain mobilized until the fires are completely extinguished. The Defense Ministry said 10 soldiers died in the fires, but did not provide further details. Afghanistan. Severe floods caused by seasonal rains in Afghanistan have killed at least 31 people. Dozens are missing and at least 74 people have been injured. Hundreds of homes were damaged or destroyed. The missing people are presumed to be under the rubble of destroyed homes. The fate of at least 40 people is unknown. People are missing after flash flooding late last night in the Jalris district of Maidan Wardak province west of Kabul. Hundreds of hectares of farmland have been washed away or destroyed by the floods. The highway between the capital Kabul and Bamyan Central Province has also been closed. Turkey. Another earthquake with magnitude 5.5 has occurred in Turkey, which was recorded by the European Mediterranean Seismological Center. Epicenter was located in 69 kilometers to the northwest from the city of Osmani and in 20 kilometers to the northeast from the city of Kazan. The source was at a depth of 10 kilometers. According to the Turkish Disaster Management Authority, no negative situations have been reported so far. There have been no reports of casualties or damage either. The head of the directorate, Yunus Caesar, wrote on Twitter that they continue to monitor the situation. He also noted that this earthquake can be considered one of tens of thousands of aftershocks after the earthquakes of February 6. Recall that on the night of February 6 in the southeast of Turkey there was an earthquake with a magnitude of 7.7, and later that day another one with a magnitude of 7.6. According to the Turkish authorities, as a result of these earthquakes killed more than 50,000 people. On July 19, Istanbul authorities announced preparations for a possible new earthquake. Pacific Ocean. A growing typhoon is moving across the Pacific toward the Philippines, and forecasters warn it could strengthen to a super typhoon and hit Taiwan, Hong Kong, or mainland China later this week, according to the U.S. Joint Typhoon Warning Center. Typhoon Doksuri began as a tropical storm in the western Pacific on Sunday morning, according to the Philippine Meteorological Agency. By the end of the day, it turned into a typhoon with maximum wind speeds of 230 kilometers per hour. The typhoon is currently approaching Luzon, the Philippines' largest and most populous island. It is expected to hit the northeastern edge of the island on Tuesday, causing up to 25 centimeters of rainfall. That could increase to about 45 centimeters by Wednesday as the typhoon strengthens and heads into the northern part of the South China Sea, posing potential problems for Taiwan, Hong Kong, and parts of southern China. Typhoon Doksuri, also known as Agay in the Philippines, could become a super typhoon by late Tuesday or early Wednesday. This is equivalent to a Category 5 hurricane, the highest and most destructive level on the scale. At this level, storms can cause catastrophic damage to residential areas, depending on wind speeds and the extent of coastal storm surges. Guatemala. The Fuego volcanoes, also known as Chikak, erupted today. As a result, ash flew into the sky. A horrifying video clip has surfaced showing puffs of smoke billowing out of the volcano. The volcano is located in Guatemala, 16 kilometers from the city of Antigua. Nova Scotia. The province of Nova Scotia on the east coast of Canada suffered from severe flooding caused by a storm. Because of the natural disaster, drowned local houses and roads. The amount of precipitation over the day reached the 3-month norm. The published images show that roads and residential buildings were underwater. 19 bridges were damaged, 6 more were completely destroyed, including the Canadian National Railroad, which is important for the country's economy. According to the Prime Minister of Nova Scotia, it will cost hundreds of millions of dollars to rebuild the infrastructure. Water levels are dropping, but are still high in many areas. Repair work will begin once water levels reach a safe level.